Hi, I'm Jamie, and welcome to Sci-Fi-Vision for July 1st. And because Scarlet isn't here because I'm an idiot and did not send her the link. So give me 1 second and I am getting it to her so she can join us. But hey, at least I'm there, right? That's something, I guess. I don't know. I feel like lately my tech support skills are severely lacking. But anyway, so welcome to Midnight Murderbot. Tonight we're going to be talking about the 8th episode, which is called, I forget, so I'm looking it up and making sure so I say the right thing here, is called For an Object, which is the 8th episode. So welcome everybody. If you're here, please make sure that you like the video, subscribe to Sci-Fi-Vision, and if you're not, make sure that you join our Discord, which I am putting in the chat momentarily here, and I'll pin it. Oh, there we go. Hold on 1 second, Scarlet. I'm trying to get YouTube not to be stupid. There we go. Here, I'll add you. There you go. You're joined. If you haven't, sorry about that. If you haven't, make sure you join our Discord, where you can get updates to our schedule for both YouTube and Discord, because we have watch parties before we do our live streams. And tomorrow on Tuesday at 10 p.m. Eastern is our weekly review show. That's kind of a roundup of everything. And we're starting the new Marvel series tomorrow, in addition to some other things. And then Thursday at 11, Scarlet and I have Librarians, the next chapter. And Friday at 11 with Lori, I have Revival. And then starting on the 13th, we'll be having a watch party for the Institute, as well as a live stream. I was told, or it was my understanding, that it was on at 9 o'clock on Sunday, but it sounds like it may be on at midnight instead. So whichever the case, that will be when we have the watch party when it drops. So, all right. Welcome, Scarlet. Yeah. Sorry about that.
I may be able to hit the first couple institutes, by the way. So
okay, that would be great. That would be great. No, yeah, that would be great. I'm gonna Justin sent us a lot of great things. I'm gonna star them all so I don't get behind on everything. But I know you don't have tons and tons of time tonight, but we'll try to get through it as fast as we can. I'm glad you watched the episode twice, Justin. Look there, I start them all, so I see them all. But welcome, everybody. Let's see. We have Muncher. We have Justin. I'm not sure who else is here, but they're the people written in the chat some way. Happy early birthday, Justin. But thank you, everybody, for coming. Yeah, we appreciate it. And I guess since we do have limited time, we will get started. So what did
I'm sure we can take our time. It's 20 minutes long.
No, well, okay. That's a good point.
We've got about an hour and change.
All right. Fair enough.
Or even an hour and a half if we really need it.
I know. I guess usually we take longer because we go on and on and on about other things, huh?
Yeah.
What did you think of the episode?
I felt like it was short. I mean, I feel like once this is all done, I'm just going to watch them all in a row.
Yeah. I think that's a good idea. I think it does flow better when you don't have to keep breaking it up.
I did like all the Sanctuary Moon bits. I was glad because there weren't any in the last episode.
Yeah. I like when they have them. I do a lot. Even though this time it's a little bit of a crazy episode of Sanctuary Moon, as you can see there. Yes. Probably should not leave it on the severed head. I forgot that was the severed head. Let's move off that one. Anyway.
That's fine.
No, I know. So we start out with Sanctuary Moon, actually, on this one, with the captain talking to Nav7, who has killed the previous captain, decapitated him, as we said. And he has, I guess, reprogrammed her, and they call it Nav7. And I'm kind of wondering if that's like I don't know if it is or not, but it makes me think of like 7 of 9, and if that was like kind of numbered that for that reason, I don't know. But he has reprogrammed it and thinks that as long as it's not malfunctioning, that it's perfectly fine and safe. But clearly that is not the case, even though he continues to say so, and it continues to act creepy. I mean, we know that this guy here is warning him that maybe he shouldn't trust it. But he does.
So did the robot cut off the other captain's head because he was making a move on her? on it.
Yeah, I'm a little confused by that because I thought that like she loved him. It loved him. Um, I'm not. Yeah, I don't know what happened that she cut the other captain's head off. It didn't exactly explain that part, but
Maybe it was mercy because they're heading into Event Horizon, and she didn't want to have him have to do
yeah,
that, so she cut his head off.
maybe it sounds like they're
In
purposely
mercy.
having the Event Horizon though, so I'm not completely sure. But he
Yeah.
does tell her to smile. I thought I had a. I don't know why that one's sideways. I thought I had a picture of her creepy smile. I do not.
Yeah,
But
that was pretty creepy.
it was. But she slash it is supposed to be taking them through the wormhole, and instead she goes directly into the Event Horizon. Which, if you've ever seen the movie Event Horizon, you probably have an idea what's going to happen. And she says that they'll be, although I don't know, he says something about they'll be stuck in the continuum. So I don't know if they're supposed to be going to be stuck in a time loop or not.
Have you ever
But
seen the movie Event Horizon?
yeah, but I don't remember. Yeah, there was a time loop, wasn't there? See, that's how much I remember. It has been
That was a
forever
crazy movie.
It had Jason Isaacs. That's the extent of what I really remember, to be honest. That was what stuck out to me there. But either way, this robot does not listen to him, and she, I guess, squishes his head, is what it seemed like to me, or
Yeah.
pushes his, gouges his eyes out. It wasn't super clear because it didn't show the complete violence, but yeah, I think that it is done listening to
Yeah,
humans. Justin had asked us what parallels can be drawn between the Sanctuary Moon episode and Murderbot's current reality. How might the sabotaging bot reflect Murderbot's own fears or self-perception? I don't know. Do you think that Murderbot or Sec Unit, whatever you want to call it, might be scared that maybe he might do something like that? I would say.
Oh yeah,
Obviously,
I think that's a fear. I think it's a fear it has.
Yeah,
or they have.
Yeah, no, I agree. In this episode, I feel like this episode more than even the other episodes later on, it actually makes an outright choice because it seems to think about the fact it doesn't have to do it more so than usually just doing what it feels like it should do. It's like, I don't have to do this. I could just leave him here, and it kind of reasons it out. But yeah, I also find it interesting, and we'll get into this more when we get to that part of the episode, but I also find it interesting that Sec Unit does not want the rest of the group to know about what it's done, about calling itself Murderbot. So it clearly has an awareness that what it did not necessarily wasn't right, but wasn't, I guess, what it wanted to have chosen to do, So I definitely think it has more of a self-awareness than maybe we thought it did before. But yeah. So yeah, that episode of Sanctuary Moon maybe does not end up so good. Let's put it that way. So yeah,
I wonder if that was the last season.
It might have been. I don't
remember.
Yes, the finale where it never was renewed, and that's why. All right, they're all dead. But Mensa is talking to him, and that's why he's watching it, kind of not paying attention, because he's like, I want to find out if it kills the other one, but I got to deal with it.
Exactly. The big news.
Yeah. He's more interested in his soap operas. Can't say I necessarily blame him, but they are still talking about taking Garathan back to the med bay. So they haven't actually gotten there yet, because they had I thought I don't know why I was thinking last episode they had left and were on their way, but I guess not. They were, I guess, getting ready to get in the hopper. But Sec Unit does have an idea to check. He's been, I guess, putting up surveillance cameras to watch and see what's going on that are around the area, so that he can find out if anybody's there. I captured this though because look at that guy's bracelet. Like, he's got this what looks like a diamond or some kind of really fancy bracelet. I noticed that. Not that it matters.
I thought it was a watch. It's not a watch. It's just a bracelet. Looks like a watch. It looks like
a bracelet to me, but either way, it looks pretty fancy for them being the hippie community they are, doesn't it?
No, I don't know. He seems to be the blingiest of the bunch.
Yes, of all of them, he is quite the blingiest. But So they are on the hopper taking, they're taking Garathan to the habitat, even though he doesn't think that they should. And they are scoping it out. And this is where it shows the different security cameras that he has set up that shows there are more of those sec units, whatever you want to call them, those security ones that are coming into their habitat. And so it's a good thing that he's because that's the thing too. Like he can watch them, I guess, when they're there, but when they're not there, it sounds like he had to set up, separate security cameras. I don't know. That part was a little confusing to that. Hi, Bill. Thanks for stopping by. Thanks, Justin. Sorry, making sure I check, you guys. Justin, I know you had a lot of comments. I'm going to try to get to them as we get to it in the episode, so we can go through them all, because otherwise, I think we're going to get completely out of order where we're at. So yeah, we will get to them. But they are trying. Let's see. They're trying to decide what to. I love how they call him Seki, but they also call them all funny names, because I know Rathi calls Garathan Gugu again, which was not necessarily fitting, but he does call him that. But so they see that these people are coming, and they're worried because these, as Rada says, these sec units are the one that kicked his ass. And they talk about how they have the company Grey Chris marking on them, which is some kind of mining company that is, for whatever reason, they don't know yet, after them. And what is up with that lip ring is beyond me, but it's very odd. I guess it's supposed to be futuristic. I don't know.
I thought it was some kind of glitch in the video that I was like, oh yeah, that is on her face.
Yeah, no, I think that's a decent story. But she's like, you knew we were coming because you had these cameras set up, which again, sec unit being smart, not the other people, so they should realize they do need him. And she explains that they did disconnect their beacon, but she's like, but you killed our colleague, so let's just call it a wash.
That's okay.
Like, I'll give you.
Fine.
It's even. We'll give you life for your beacon. But something about this part I didn't understand was saying that if they want to get off the planet, they have to work together. I guess they mean the only way off is through Delt Falls place. I don't know. I didn't quite understand what she meant by that, but the idea is that she says that they have to work together to get off, and that everything was a misunderstanding, and they didn't mean for anybody to get hurt, which is like, yeah, right, that's total bullshit, but that's what she says. And she's like, as good faith, we will leave your habitat, meet us here at this point. And I love, at least when she's saying all this, sec unit like scoffs at it. He makes a noise. He thinks it's total bullshit, at least, even if they are maybe buying some of it. There's a picture. I tried to get pictures of the monitors. They look cool. I still think they're just like iPads.
Probably.
They probably are, but they're cool looking. But anyway, yeah, this person tells them to meet them at that time. And they are worried now because those people were there, but there's like, well, they left, so now we can bring Garath in there. And sec unit's like, well, they probably set up traps. These people continue, like, would be so dead without him over and over again, wouldn't they? I mean, they didn't set traps. It doesn't seem like, but it would make sense that they did. But I love this scene where they are all sort of flashing back, and they're like, oh, we can take care of ourselves. Look what we did last time. And it shows them all acting like idiots, being completely massacred if it wasn't for sec unit. So,
you were so fierce. And it's like, sure.
Yeah, they were so fierce throwing things at the other sec units that did absolutely nothing. But they think they were.
So good.
Yeah. So they think that they can take care of themselves, which clearly they don't. And he, after having, kind of looking at them like, what the fuck is wrong with you? He's like, the odds of you surviving are extremely low. They do seem to listen when he says that. They stop their, talking about it, but they still are like, his life's worth it. We got to go. We got to do this regardless of what happens. So that's what they decide to do. And they're going to go back to the habitat, which I thought, like I said, I thought they had already decided this last time. Maybe I misunderstood that. I thought this was already well and decided, unless it was more of sort of a recap. I don't know. I thought that's where it ended, didn't it? With them saying they were going no matter what.
Yeah,
Wasn't that like?
I thought they said that too, but who
Yeah,
knows?
I don't know. Maybe they had to have a longer discussion about it. I guess they do all make decisions together, so maybe that's part of it. So he goes out and he scans everything to make sure it's clear. There's the blood from the BB, but he tells him to go ahead and come in. And you know, I just wanted to mention here though, I kind of wonder, he's like, oh, it's clear. Didn't he learn last time that they can turn his scans off and show clear when it is? And I'm like, you're telling them that it's safe. Maybe you ought to look a little bit longer, but it turns out it seems to be safe. But I just still found that funny, regardless of that. But yeah, so they come in and they talk about Gray Chris. Now, let me ask you, and not that I want you to necessarily spoil because I know you're reading the book, but I'm just curious, is Gray Chris in the first book? Because I know you're listening to it.
I haven't. I'm at about 2 hours of 3 hours and 17 minutes, and I'm only to like.
Okay,
like,
you're not very.
there's a weird mishmash going on from the book because they find out earlier that it calls itself Murderbot.
Okay, interesting. I feel
And
like
they find out about that in Sanctuary Moon at the same time, but it's a little earlier. So I'm kind of at the point where he first got damaged a lot when he was kind of like getting repaired.
Oh,
like
okay.
laying like he had just fought the 1 unit when they went off to the other place where the people were dead and stuff in it. Yeah. So it's just finishing up that part.
Okay. So you don't know yet.
No.
I actually am surprised. I mean, I guess a book, kind of flows differently, but I think it made more sense to leave that part to happen later, because I feel like the whole thing about them learning he was free, them learning what he thought of himself, and that, I think that those were kind of like the important beats that you were waiting for. So I like that they stretched that out. I think that it made sense with the story, and I feel like if they had done that sooner, the story would have been even shorter. I feel like they could have even probably stretched it out longer if they wanted to.
Yeah.
But yeah, so Grathan his leg is getting really infected, which I guess their med bay can pretty much fix anything, because she starts talking about gangrene and she's like, oh, the laser can laser anything out of it. And Sec Unit is saying that she doesn't know what she's talking about, but yet it seems like it can help. She just doesn't know how to run it, I guess, really, to be honest, but is going to figure it out. But yeah, because she says the wound is necrotizing. So at least in the present, that would have been very bad. But I guess then in the future, it isn't. And she's going to use the laser to laser out whatever's wrong with his leg. Again, not sure how that necessarily would work, but but the main thing is
future science.
Future science, because science. But she's going to laser it out. And the main thing is that Garathan says he doesn't want painkillers. And Menza tries to talk him into it, but this is where he says, no, this is where it started. Now, we know from the previous episode about his drug addiction that may or may not have been, I'm not sure if the drug addiction was caused by the company or if the company just used that as a way to control him. That wasn't 100% clear. That might something that maybe they'll explain more in the book. I don't know once you get to that, if that's even in the book, who knows.
I mean, so far everything that's been in the series has also been in the book. There hasn't been any like surprises. And it's kind of flown in the same direction too, with the scenes being in the same order and everything.
That's cool. But so he doesn't want to take the drugs, but he does tell Sec Unit to restrain him. And I find it funny because I really expected some kind of smart ass remark from him there about not in a sexual way. I don't mean, we're not doing After Dark, but I just mean about like restraining him. I thought like he'd be happy to have to hold him down or something because he doesn't like him. But instead, he has the same thought that Garathan does at the same time, which is that he can connect to him with his wiring. Since he is partly augmented, he can block his central nervous system and block the pain, but he has to plug into him. You know, I was happy here that what I had said, because I know I said this last week, and when I first watched this, when I said this, like, I hadn't known, you know, what was going to happen when I had first said it. And I like that Sec Unit is now connecting into him. I had kind of hoped that that would happen. I think that's neat because of the fact Garathan had to do the same thing. And, you know, Sec Unit had to trust Garathan, even though he maybe shouldn't have, to be honest. But Garathan trusting Sec Unit is like a lot harder, I think, for him to deal with. And I like that he has to do that in order to get better. Someway says, currently with cases of necrosis, the doctors debride the bride, I don't know how you say it, debride the affected area with wire brushes, scalpels, and whatnot to remove dead tissue. I guess that's true. I guess it would depend how much necrotic tissue's in there would be the question. But then again, it's so far in the future, they may be able to grow new tissue. You know, who knows? I still would like to see on a sci-fi like futuristic show where they like grow bones and stuff with, you know, the abilities they have. I think that would be cool to see, because they obviously are talking about, for real, that they're going to be able to grow joints and stuff with 3D printers. Well, they already can make bones and stuff with 3D printers, I think, but they're going to somehow like use your DNA to build it because they can print with, you know, different things. But I know that they can to some extent grow, I want to say body parts. Maybe that's the wrong way to say that, but body parts that way. Because I always remember, I'm trying to think exactly what it's called. Future Fantastic, I think it's called. I had watched, God, decades ago, this documentary series. It was because Gillian Anderson hosted it. And they grew like a human ear on the back of a rat by grafting DNA or whatever onto it. So there's things they can do, and I'd love to see more of that kind of future tech used in a sci-fi.
Westworld kind of applied that.
I'm trying to remember.
You could see the bodies, like their machine kind of almost printed the bodies and put in the little sinews and stuff. It would just kind of go back and forth and fill in stuff.
No, definitely. I'm just meaning like I would like to see like human tissue grown that way in a show. Not I mean, that is still partially human, but
just a little lab of different things, like here's the kidney section, the lung section.
It's just usually the science in shows like this, like they don't necessarily explain anything or they don't make sense, and they're just like, you know, futuristic things. I'd like to see some of the realistic,
or it's just a little thing and then it plops out like a human heart. It just falls down off a conveyor.
Yeah, something like that. The rat, if you're talking about the one I'm talking about, that's cool if you remember that some way. All right, now I know Justin had something. I just remember that show. I always remember the rat. There was, if you like sci-fi stuff, I'm trying to think. I'm pretty sure it was called, I want to say it was called Fantastic Future or Future Fantastic or something to that effect. I'm looking it up. Hold on.
You probably just look up Gillian Anderson and it'll probably show you.
Yeah, you probably can look up Gillian Future Fantastic. It is. But regardless of the fact I was fan of Gillian's because of X-Files. If you like this kind of stuff, that show is, I think, really, really interesting because it's about crazy medical science shit that was like ahead of its time. Well, back then, now some of it, I don't know.
Yeah. You could just watch it and see how much of it's actually happened.
Yeah. I know there was a lot of really cool stuff in there, though. I had liked that series when it was on. All right, so let's go to one of Justin's thing here. We were on, let's see. I know there was something here. Okay, I was going to say, I know there was about painkillers. Why might he refuse painkillers despite his severe condition and what to suggest? Okay, well, we talked about, his addiction. What does it suggest about his character? I mean, I think it suggests that he's trying to be a better person, even if he's not always the best person. And clearly he doesn't want to go down that road. I'm not sure other than that, but I like that they kind of brought that storyline into it. And obviously it had to happen last week for this to make sense now. So let's see. So they're going to talk more about what's going on with Grey Chris, but first they have to take care of all of this. And this is where he says that it is going to plug into Garathan in order to turn off Garathan's pain. and he was able to control it this time. It turns off his sight.
Yeah.
And it says it so he can't see what they're doing, but I think it was partially more so he could root around in his brain. I don't know. But yeah, and it also says something like that it can do it while Mensa's looking at him, because it's afraid, it'll get caught, I guess. But he's like, he rummaged around in mine. It's only fair. Maybe he can find something. But he gets lost. He says it's not like a normal database, probably because, it's a brain and he has to understand a bit what a human brain is. But let's see. I think I'm a little bit behind there. Yeah, he's connected to him. So he sees himself at first through Garathan's eyes, but then after he starts seeing some, I don't know, thoughts, memories, what
fantasies.
could be fantasies. Yeah. He sees him telling Mensa, and we've talked about this before in the show, but it shows him telling Mensa, and I don't think this, I was curious what you thought, but I don't think this actually happened. I think it was just what he wanted to say to her.
Mm-hmm.
But he told her that he loved her, but he said it was an odd conversation, because I definitely didn't take it to mean in a romantic way, because he said something like, I love you as my equal, as my better. Like, I don't know. What did you think of that whole thing? It was a little weird.
Oh, I thought it was a very romantic montage of Mensa's.
Okay, so you did find it romantic. I thought the wording was so
Yeah.
strange. It made me wonder if it wasn't meant quite romantic. But
I feel like that barrage of images was his feels.
that's fair. That's fair. It just was a really odd way to put it. But it ends with Murderbot, being like, "Why won't you love me? Why won't you love me?"
Yeah,
And
that
then
was pretty crazy.
Yeah.
That was pretty crazy. We're just watching. I'm like, what?
Yeah, and I know it was done as comic relief, but like, I felt really bad for Garathan. Like, yeah,
I didn't take it. I didn't take it as comedy relief. I thought it was just kind of like awkward.
No, it was, but I thought we were supposed to take it as comedy.
Oh.
Saying that, and I felt bad for Garathan. Like, you're
Yeah.
hearing all. He says, let's say, some way says, "My God, Jim, these people cut you open with scalpels and dark pages." That's funny. Some of the folks in AA will pass on painkillers in the hospital due to the possibility of falling off the wagon. Yeah, it's definitely true. It happens. I don't know if you could. I guess you could lay there while somebody cuts you open, but I feel like if they were really going to laser your knee, like, they would have had to have knocked him out if he could not connect with them to turn off his pain sensors, because otherwise somebody definitely would have had to hold him down. That's not like a little thing. But at any rate, he is seeing him talk about loving Mensa, and he does say something like, "I should have minded my own business." So he clearly doesn't want to know. And I love Garathan. Did I say something? He's like, "Nope." Trying to back out of it. And there's Barkswatch she's operating on his knee.
Yeah, that operation device is interesting.
The what?
The operation device that she has.
Yeah, the little
the wires.
Yeah. They do have, robot controlled things like that to do operations. So that's not that is realistic. I don't know that it looks like that, but I knew they do have them, so that's kind of interesting. But at any rate, before he disconnects, Garathan goes back into Murderbot, and his defenses are down, so he's able to do it. And this is where he sees the murders that Murderbot, Sec Unit may or may not have committed, of those 57 people on the mining expedition. We don't know. And he's telling people, he killed 57 people. He calls himself Murderbot, which, by the way, he said is not why he called himself Murderbot, but yet he doesn't explain why he called himself Murderbot. So I don't know if I missed something. Like, he never said why he called himself Murderbot, did he? He just said, "I'll call myself Murderbot."
Yeah,
because I
it isn't an audiobook so far either. So he just calls sec units Murderbots, but then
yeah,
also itself.
yeah, all of them that
It
way.
calls it himself.
But I definitely don't think when it called itself Murderbot, it meant it like it was glorifying that it killed those people. I
No,
think it maybe was more like it's a cool name. Even I could see it saying, just the way it is. But
it's punk
yeah,
rock.
yeah, it's punk rock. Second unit does not want him to tell them, and he's like, no, stop, stop. And this is where, like I said, I really find this part interesting because, yeah, the fact that it is aware that what it did was wrong to these people, that it doesn't want them to know because it doesn't, I'm assuming, doesn't want them to be scared of it more, or doesn't want it to judge them, or whatever reason. What happens in the past, they already know it killed Labibi. I mean, technically, them finding this out wouldn't necessarily cause a big problem, but clearly it's scared that it will. And the fact that he's called Murderbot, isn't a great thing. But yeah, I almost feel like it kind of feels shame at it,
Yeah,
which I don't know that it should be able to feel, which is what's interesting. But it does say, it's not murder. I don't know I actually killed them. It could have been an implanted memory. It could have been this. It could have been I was forced to. And Grathan's like, yeah, maybe you're just effective, and you could do it again. And murder or sec unit does say you could be right. And this is where we talked earlier when Justin asked that. I do think that sec unit's scared that could happen, or that did happen. Not knowing what actually happened, I think, is probably worse for sec unit than knowing what happened.
yeah.
That's okay, just me. I'm glad that you came. I know you were there for a couple minutes. You should watch the series. It's really good, and it's really short too.
It's really
We are
short.
they're like 20, 22 minutes a piece, so you can catch up really quickly.
Oh yeah.
I was going to say it would actually be nice, I think, though I don't know, because I guess all at once it would be a lot. So I was going to say it'd be fun to do watch right before the finale and watch all of them, but then that would still be probably a few hours at once. But it could be interesting if people want.
Yeah, but it'd be interesting to watch them without any gaps. Just this cliffhanger to this thing.
Yeah, I've said before, I do think that that's why a lot of times, like, I respond differently to things because I've seen so many of them at a time. Because I want to say I watched 6 of them before I went to bed or whatever, and finished the rest of them. So I watched it, I think, in 2 chunks when I first seen it. Would you interact with the sentient robot girl if she had 0 friends? I think having a robot friend could be fun as long as they won't murder me.
I love Dolores. Dolores could be my friend.
Yeah, Dolores is cool.
Yeah.
Let's see. Okay, what are the implications of Grathan accessing Murderbot's memories during the neural interface procedure? How does this affect their dynamic and his perception of Murderbot? I feel like we haven't really seen that yet. Do you? I mean, I think that it might later as the series goes on. I don't know. I think Grathan's already like really weary of him. I don't know that it's going to help anything, but at the same time, I feel like if it were me, I would realize, yeah, but the fact that he's shameful about this and he doesn't seem to like it, he clearly doesn't enjoy killing people. Like I think Grathan seemed to think before this. I think that definitely should tell him that it wasn't something he wanted to be a part of, or at least that wouldn't want to at this point in time. Maybe back then, we don't know. Let's see. That's
we don't know. We don't know much about sec units in general.
We don't.
We don't know if they like just have to murder a bunch of people every once in a while.
Yeah. I mean, there's
when you make a protein product or whatever, protein dinner, you have to break a few eggs.
Yeah. Yeah, he did say that before. I mean, he said that he was supposed to protect, that Murderbot was supposed to protect that group of people, but we don't really, what Sec Unit said was right. He could have been hacked again. We really don't know what happened. We don't know that it wasn't to save another group of people. I know that Sec Unit was quick to find an answer that was maybe more of what it wanted, but that doesn't change the fact that it could be right, I would think. Let's see, what else does Justin say that's connected here? About hidden tensions, we already talked about that. That was about Mensa. All right, just group debate over whether, okay, I think we're caught up with what's happened yet. I was trying to get us caught up there. So she finishes fixing him there. And so yeah, Sec Unit does agree that maybe he is defective and could kill people. It admits that. And they played such sad music. They made it really sad. And he just like puts his mask on, and turns around and walks out completely away from them here. I was behind. This is where Grathan saw the images. And it also had a tear coming down his face, which I find interesting because it kind of makes me wonder, do you think that was all Grathan? Like maybe some of the emotion even came from Sec Unit because they were connected.
I think the emotion came from Sec Unit in that case.
Yeah. And I think that if it did, that is really interesting and something to think about, that he maybe was really upset over it to the point that it made him cry. But yeah, it takes off and leaves, and that should be a couple. Sorry, I'm too many frames back here. There we go. He takes off. So yeah, they're like, where are you going? And some of them are saying can't let it leave. They might be dead. They need it to take care of them. Other ones are like, no, just different thing. And of course, Garathan's like, good riddance. But Mensa shuts the door. And she's like, we can't deal. I mean, I feel like Mensa's basically like, we can't deal with this right now. Is sort of what she's saying. Like, we don't have time for this. Let's see. Someway says they have a real name, which is a long string of code that it only shares with a couple of AIs. The Murderbot, as common name ID, comes from the fact that when he is activated, it's to save or protect scared, angry humans, which usually means killing other humans. Well, we know from lots of shows that humans are usually the one to blame for a lot of things. So that does make sense.
It seems almost colloquial in the book that Murderbot's a term.
Yeah.
But the space hippies don't know that. It's a term.
No.
Maybe something within the people that made it, what it is.
Yeah. Well, to them, it's specifically this Sec Unit that has that name. They don't know that they call other Sec Units that at this point yet. But yeah, Mensa's kind of like, we need to deal with what's going on, not with Sec Unit. And they start talking about Gray Chris. And Rathi is upset that they're letting it go, but Mensa says it can do what you want. It's not your pet. I love that she's actually kind of like yelling at them this time a little bit. She's like, this is what we're doing. But yeah, they talk about what Gray Chris is, and they guess that it could be another survey team. But Pinley does make the point that if it is another survey team, it can't be part of the company, because whatever's happening, they wouldn't want any part of, because the company, even if they're criminals, they still follow their own rules, because they would not want to kill the people that hire them, because if their clients die, they're not going to get money off of them. So, and this is going to cost a lot of money for what happened. So, yeah, massacre is not good for business. But I think it's Garathan says that somebody could have taken a bribe to cover up the fact that there was a third survey team there. And they come to the conclusion that Rathi suggests that it might be for alien remnants. There's a law that they're not allowed to exploit them and take them off planet. We know this, they've said this before. And if you remember, they found that graveyard of the alien remains. But Pinley's like, yeah, but if you're, not following the law anyway, then it really doesn't matter. But so they think that maybe Deltfall, came across Grey Christ mining for these or whatever, trying to find the alien remains or whatever it is that's down there. And that, just like how they were before trying to find out where the alternate sites are and everything, they wanted those maps, the stuff that wasn't like listed or whatever. It sounds like Deltfall didn't actually know where they were, and they don't either. And that's what they want off of them, is to know where those areas are. And that's the only reason they're still alive, because if they, once they give them that information, they're dead.
Yeah.
And Sec Unit also agrees with that there. That's the alien thing there. Let's see. I'll jump ahead a few pictures there. So Sec Unit is thinking about that, they would be screwed. And he does say that, they'd be dead. They'd be screwed. He's like, they'd be dead without me, which it's not wrong. But this is where it kind of has this existential discussion with itself, thought about how, there is no programming forcing it to stay. But at the same time, without them, it can't get off the planet. So I don't know. I mean, I think that it goes back because it cares about them, but I think there's also that part of it that goes back for its own reasoning, which actually also makes it kind of human, because most people do things for their own benefit, not for other people's, let's be honest. So but
and human thought isn't rational at times, so maybe he's like, growing into that as well.
So but it does think it could go back, but it knows that right now it's I don't know exactly the word it used, but it's like disgusted by him for what he did. Like, that's how he feels. I really think that, like, I enjoyed this episode a lot because of these pieces, because of the fact that Sec Unit is acting a lot more human, even though it's not human. That's one of the things that I also find interesting about this show, because all the other shows, like Westworld. Well, Westworld, they were machines too, though. Like, usually a show is about them becoming more human, and they're like part human, part robot. But
Westworld was part biological as well.
I guess they were part biological. Yeah, I was trying to think, but they still don't have a human consciousness.
They get
one. I was going to say, obviously, it's becoming that way just from being around the human, which is the part of this. I mean, it's the part of the story. Granted, it's definitely a trope, but I enjoy that part of the story. I think that it's interesting, and I do think that even if it had a way off the planet, I think that it would come back. That's
maybe if some of its sensitivity comes from watching Sanctuary Moon.
It might. Definitely could. I really wish there were, like, if they're not going to put it in the episode, that there were like bonus episodes or bonus.
At least something online, like little shorts.
Yeah, I want to see more of Sanctuary. Definitely. So we have Rathy going to talk to Pinley and Errata, and he's like, this isn't working for me. Which has not been working for Pinley for a while. And Errata, I don't know, Errata's kind of like, I think, could take it or leave it. I don't know that she's really against it yet. But he's like, I've fallen in love with one of you. It's not fair to the other one. And I guess it seems like they both assumed it was going to be Errata. And he fell in love with Pinley. And then I think this scene's funny, where she's like, why would you think he wouldn't be attracted to me? Aren't you attracted to me? So they're kind of getting in an argument a little bit about the fact that it's Pinley that he's attracted to. But and also the fact is they already wanted to quit the triad, but yet now they seem more interested, because they're like, oh wait, but he likes me, so maybe this is a good thing. Which, hey, everybody wants to feel attractive, right? But they're gonna talk about it later.
It's gotta be pretty hard to fall in love with two people at the same time at once with the same amount of love.
That is true.
I don't know if that was in the contract, but
I don't think a lot of times triads don't work for that reason. But they're gonna talk about it later. So meanwhile,
I don't think that part's in the audiobook so far.
The triad.
I mean, there's a mention of people living in like extended like poly families, but it isn't like with the characters as yet. But maybe like as I go on.
Yeah, well, yeah, find out. I wouldn't be surprised though if that was added to the TV show. I feel like a lot of times
Yeah.
with adaptations they try to add more sex and violence than
Well,
maybe it would be.
it's probably more character development, but plus the book is totally from Murderbot's perspective.
That too, yeah. Although we see a
So
lot of it from its perspective too, of it being annoyed
yeah.
and not wanting to see it and being grossed out and everything, which is funny. But
But you wouldn't see that scene last episode where
right,
they were dining or the people that were making them, like those outside things
right, and
that
that's
add a lot of flavor to the TV show.
yeah, and that's why I'm curious. You said you didn't get to the part about him having a drug addiction yet, right? You said if he does, you don't know, you didn't get to it yet.
I haven't gotten to
I kind of wonder how that would be put in, unless it's something maybe Sec Unit sees when they connect.
yeah,
That
maybe.
could be a possibility that would make sense to me. So, but anyway, Sec Unit's trying to watch more of Sanctuary Moon and make itself feel better, but can't help but think about, as it says, its selfish, ungrateful hippie clients. And this is where it says, even if they were dead, that it realizes even if they were dead, I don't have to be, and I could write my own storyline about a rogue Sec Unit who betrayed its clients. So I'm not sure if, I don't know. What did you think about that? Is that just to make you as a viewer think that they're going to do something that they shouldn't? Or is it just a way that it's giving itself an excuse to do something that's the right thing? I don't know that I quite understand why it said that there. I don't know. What did you think?
Yeah, I'm not sure either on that.
Yeah, because I just thought that was really, really weird. He's like, I didn't have to be dead, could write my own storyline about a rogue Sec Unit who betrayed its clients. But I don't think it has any intention of betraying them. So I'm not sure what that was about. But he goes back in. They are worried about that group, about Grey Chris finding them. And Mensa says that she's going to go negotiate with them and they're going to try to talk her out of it. But this is when he comes in and is like, I have a plan. And yeah, that is the end of the episode. See, I worry we're going to go in too slow and then I go way too fast trying to go.
I do like that. It's like, I have a plan.
I have a plan. So yeah, what do you think its plan is? I can't even remember what the plan is. So I don't have to worry about spoiling it because I don't remember what its plan is. But what do you think the plan is? Do you have a?
I don't know. A Great Chris? I have no idea.
I feel like somehow it's going to try to screw them though, but it could be interesting. Yeah. I am curious, but I do not believe that it's going to try to screw them over. I don't know why it said that. I really don't. Unless, like I said, maybe it was a way for it to not feel like, yeah, I noticed that, what you put, I saw that. I lost track of saying, yeah, I don't know. Maybe just a reason. I think why I can't multitask. I suck at multitasking. I think that maybe
Yes.
it was going to, it's trying to like give itself a reason to be like, I don't know how to say what I mean. Like, it's trying to tell itself like, I'm not doing this for them. I'm doing something for myself. Like whether it really is or not, like it's trying to convince itself that, I feel like, in this instance. So yeah. But I guess we will see. I am curious what the plan is though, because I honestly don't.
Does it involve murder? It doesn't involve murder? It does involve a murder.
Probably. All right, let's
or
see.
it doesn't in the start involve murder, and then he's like, oh no, I'm glitching, and then it's murder.
Well, I feel like there's got to be more murder, considering it's called Murderbot. I guess we'll find out.
Surprisingly, little murder in the audiobook.
There might just be a little murder. Yeah. So there's 2 episodes left. So we have less than an hour left of this show, which is sad. So yeah, not a whole lot can happen, I don't think. But I mean, I do think, like I've said before, I do think that they intend, if it does well, they're going to have another season. I don't know if the whole story is the whole book or first book or what. I really don't know, since I haven't.
I think it's going to be the whole first book.
Probably. That would be my guess, but I honestly don't know. I mean, Apple is, I think, fairly good about renewing things unless it does really poorly. So I wouldn't be surprised if it comes back. I really wouldn't.
Most people I've seen that reviewed it gave it a positive, so I can't see why it wouldn't be renewed.
Yeah, I do think
I mean, especially if it's going for the format of novella to novella to novella, they've got a lot, stuff to pull from.
Yeah, it works out with it. All right, so let's go through a few of Justin's comments here. We'll back up. And why does Murderbot initially assume that negotiations with Grey Curse sec units is not a viable option? What does this reveal about his past?
Interesting.
Does it say that? I don't know what actually says that, but yeah, I don't know. I think it's distrustful, but I think it's distrustful with good reason. But yeah, I don't know that
do you think that clip has to do with something with Grey Chris as well?
The what?
The 7-second clip he has of that slaughter. If that has anything to do with Chris.
I guess it could. I didn't even think of that. Yeah, it could. That's interesting. I hadn't thought about that.
I mean, that was not a viable option because last time they just killed everyone.
It did not work out the way it planned last time. Yeah, I don't know. That's an interesting thought, but it actually would make sense considering they're such a big part of this. Or it could just be that they're, in it for the alien stuff, and it could have nothing to do with that. I do kind of like, though, that Garathan went into his head and pulled this stuff out, because obviously Sec Unit was not able to remember on its own, but also didn't want to remember. And I think that it's going to become, something important to the story that we'll want to know. So I'm at least glad that he pulled that out. Yeah, what significance?
Yeah, I was a little slow, because I didn't realize the opening sequence is pretty much like the book, because it has like the space hippies, and then it has all these black dressed spec units coming down the hill at them. And I think that's probably how this is going to end. Like foreshadowing.
With them all attacking them, you mean?
Yeah, because when I saw them all together when they had them on the monitor, I was like, "Oh, that's like the beginning, the opening credits, where they have all the sec units running down the hill." And I thought maybe that's how the show was going to end. Maybe these sec units come down the hill at them.
Yeah, I hadn't thought about that. I'm more, when I watch the opening credits, I'm looking at the graphics. You're right, it does start like that.
It's really well done. It's a really well done sequence.
It is. I just hadn't thought about that, but you're right, it is.
And I like the music too. The music is good.
Yeah, it's awesome. What significance does Grey Chris hold in Murderbot's story arc, especially in connection to Labibi and the destroyed beacon? Well, I mean, Grey Chris, or Labibi was one of Grey Chris's people, and they had told her to destroy the beacon. I mean, we know that.
And her life was equal to one beacon.
Apparently so. Apparently
Labibi beacon.
Labibi beacon. I like that. That's awesome. That's great, Scarlet. How does its choice to leave the Preservation Society reflect its internal conflict between autonomy and connection? I mean, I think, like I said before, I think that Sec Unit feels shame for what happened. It doesn't necessarily know what happens, but it doesn't like that it killed humans. I think that it was shameful that it killed humans, and it had to make the choice to come back on its own.
But it wasn't shameful killing Labibi.
No, but it was protecting them. But like it said, I mean, technically it could have, if it killed those 57 people, it could have been protection too. We really don't know. That's the thing. Let's see.
I don't know the circumstance.
Yeah, we got to find out. Why might the preservation team hesitate to trust Grey Chris? Second is despite their offer to leave the habitat. What historical behavior evidence supports their skepticism? Why might they hesitate? Because they have no reason to trust them. I mean, if they're after that alien stuff because it's worth a lot of money, I don't think they have any reason to trust them. Now, we know they did leave the habitat, or at least we're assuming, because they didn't do anything when Garathan came back. So they either did leave, or they went far enough away to make it look like they left. I guess they could be spying on them. We really don't know. But yeah, I don't think they have any reason to trust them, but they needed to save Garathan, so they did it. Okay, what does the episode reveal about Murderbot's evolving relationship with his own identity and trauma. Well, like I said, I mean, I think we kind of talked about that. I don't think that it likes the fact it might have killed a bunch of humans. It doesn't know why, but it definitely doesn't seem to think of it as a positive. That's for sure.
And plus, they're connected with a human and the human's fantasies.
Yeah, it's learning. Let's see.
And it could have felt that emotion, you know, that the passion.
Yeah. I wonder if it did. That's a good point. But I do wonder, like you had said too, you thought that maybe like that tear was actually sort of from him in a way.
Yeah, like some kind of emotional exchange between the two of them.
Yeah, I think that was cool. I really like that. Maybe it'll make them, closer later. We don't know. What does Murderbot's return, a new plan to disrupt the company, suggest about its growth and shifting sense of purpose? Well, I think that we don't know what its plan is yet. So I don't know. I don't know. Do you have any other thoughts about that? It depends what the plan is. It really depends.
It grew enough to make a plan.
Yeah, it grew enough to make a plan. Good thing. Yeah.
And hopefully it's a good one.
I think it really depends what the plan is, but I'm curious to find out.
It's got to be better than what the space hippies could come up with.
I'm sure it will be. In what way does the episode challenge traditional boundaries between human and machine, especially through the shared neural link interface experience? I mean, I think it's really, I said this before when I was hoping that would happen. I think it's interesting that Garathan connected to Sec Unit to save him, especially when he hated him. And now Sec Unit had to do the same thing to help him out. I think that I don't know. I think that it could make them closer, but even if it doesn't, I think that it's cool that they both shared something. Yeah, I don't know. Do you have anything else to add?
Maybe he'll maybe he'll develop a crush on Mensa.
I guess it could happen. I don't know that I want to see that happen, but I guess it could happen.
But it's not even Sec Unit's own thoughts. It's just kind of grab them from, humans.
Yeah, that would be bad if more of his emotions come over to Sec Unit. Maybe Sec Unit's emotions will stick with Garathan. Who knows?
Maybe.
It's a good debate over whether to bring Murderbot back, demonstrate their growing emotional attachment and interdependence. I mean, I think it's interesting that they all seem to have different views. I mean, some of them are like, we need Murderbot because he saved us, and then the other ones are like, he's part of the team. Like, it kind of goes back and forth between the ones that want him.
But then they're like, we did such a good job fighting.
Yeah, so maybe they think they don't need him, but it kind of goes back and forth for some of them, because I know Barkswatch a couple times has been like, but he saved me or whatever, and is using that as the reasoning, where I feel like Arata maybe more is starting to connect to him, and obviously Mensa has a connection to him. But yeah, I think if he died, I think all of them would probably be emotional. I think they're all attached to him, maybe just don't recognize that. Oops. All right. I think, let's see. Okay. Someway says, if I remember correctly, standard procedure is for Sec Units to download mission memory and then upload a highly edited version only for performance. So I'm guessing then Someway you're saying that that's why it only has that really short memory that's like a flash of what happened rather than the full memory. Interesting.
Because maybe someone's hiding something.
Yeah, I mean,
the whole story.
Well, the Sec Unit itself wouldn't have a reason to know it all, because Sec Unit doesn't choose whether it was good or bad normally. They normally wouldn't care. The fact that it doesn't like that it murdered people is abnormal. So but yeah, I agree. Somebody could be hiding something for sure. And I would like to know.
Or it could have been someone tried to delete it, and that's just what was left accidentally.
Yeah, like kind of that ghost image that didn't quite get deleted all the way. Yeah. Wouldn't you feel bad for a bot that was made to kill, but then she grew emotions and she felt badly after? Yeah, I mean, I think so. But I think that you'd have to know that they really felt bad about it. And I do believe Sec Unit does. I mean, whether they believe that or not, I don't know. But I believe that.
It's like the good Terminator.
Yeah, you're right. It's like the good Terminator.
I
I hadn't even thought about that.
that
I
one
see
Terminator film where he was living with a wife.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And
It's been
yeah, it was a later
Terminator.
Terminator film.
Yeah, I know. I'm trying to think which one that is. I have not seen it in forever. I'm pretty sure I've seen them all though.
Yeah.
I don't know. Was the last one Genesis or was there one after that? There might
No,
have
it
been
was one after that. And it
Okay.
had
I don't
Linda
know.
Hamilton in it.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, I do remember Linda Hamilton being in
But I
one
can't
though. So
remember the name of it.
I think I did see it then because I do remember Linda Hamilton being in it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was cool.
But
Speaking
he was
of,
just trying to live his life, live his robot life.
yeah, yeah, I like Terminator. That's a good. We should do a watch party of a lot of things. I say that. I think. Do you have
Yeah.
time for another watch party?
Lots of
Probably not.
robots. You could do Companion. You could do Raised by Wolves, which
Yeah,
is a great show. You could do
yeah.
a little Westworld. You could do the Westworld movie with Yul Brynner in it. That would be fun.
Oh, I've actually seen that. That's one old movie.
Yeah, or
I've actually
Future
seen.
World. I mean, those are fun.
I don't know if I ever saw Future World. I can't remember, but I remember seeing the original Westworld movie. I watched it
Yeah.
after watching the series. He's not
Well,
used
they
to having.
reference it a lot in the TV show too, so it's nice. You
Yeah,
know,
they
like
do.
the different lands and stuff.
Yeah, you get to see other parts of it. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
He's not used to having 24/7 experience among humans. Yeah, Sec Unit is definitely not. And it deals with it by watching a lot of television.
I
As
think
a
it's
lot
put.
of
I
people
think
deal
it's
with.
put into a certain part of the spaceship, at least in the audiobook, when it's traveling. So it doesn't have like any interaction.
Oh, in between it doesn't. That's
Yeah.
interesting. But I was just going to say though, it uses the time it has to deal with humans in between to try to watch its TV shows and be able to get away from them, and that's not so unlike what a lot of people do. I feel
Yeah.
like
I mean, I'm hoping we see a little bit of that other show I was watching. I can't remember the name of it.
Yeah, it mentions another. I thought I wrote it down here somewhere. It mentions another show in the. Oh, yeah, I didn't even say that line. I skipped it. There's something at some point here whenever Mensa says, "Oh, about the operation or the way he's connecting to Garathan," and she says something like, "You didn't learn this on Sanctuary Moon, did you?" And he says no, and then it says in its own head, "No, I found it." He says, I saw it on Med Center Argala." They claimed it was made from real life, that the show was from real life. So yeah, it had no clue that was going to work, which I love, and did it anyway. Someway says a huge part of their program is defined by the specifics of the given contract in terms of liability insurance. Huh. Interesting. So they're not always told to do the same thing. Mm-hmm. That's very interesting. This is why I feel like we're not getting enough of the world,
Yeah, and in the audiobook, anytime anybody breaks a contract, he says he has to record it and then send it to headquarters.
Huh. Well, it is a spy that's always there, right?
Oh yeah.
It's always there. But I guess they get turned off in between that. Yeah, I would like to see more of the world. I think that I say this every week, but I do wish this was an hour show because I think that seeing more in-depth character development would make the show better. Do we need it? Is it bad without it? No, but I think it would make it better with it.
Yeah. Or exploring the world more, or the backstories, or
that hurt very bad.
You okay?
Yeah, I told you the other day I had an ulcer. It's still there.
Ugh.
And I just bit it. And God, that hurt really bad.
That could be horrible.
Yeah, it is. It hasn't healed yet. That's the problem.
Ugh.
I don't know if it might be something I bit my mouth to begin with, maybe that caused it. I don't know. I get them so easy, but it's just not healing.
Yeah.
And my mouth gets dry and it hurts like hell. So
yeah, yes. I feel like it's a summer thing because I get a little dehydrated and then it's like things happen.
Yeah, your mouth being dry doesn't help, and at night too. Like especially if you have the air conditioner on.
Yeah.
And then your mouth is even
as you do when it's like 100 degrees outside.
Yes. Oh my God. I was saying the other day that my pool water was like 89 or whatever. Do you know it was even higher than that when I went back in? It was like 92.
Like a hot tub.
I know. And I'm like, how is it that high when we don't have we just have a solar cover. But unfortunately that day I did not get to enjoy the 92 weather because I went in for literally like 20 minutes before it started storming that day. I don't know
if I could enjoy the 92 degree weather in any case.
I like warm water, but yeah, it was kind of verging on too warm because sometimes it makes you feel cold because it's when it's as hot as the air. It isn't as
I went
refreshing.
to Lake Michigan over the weekend and the water was cold, but then that's a huge body of water.
Yeah, it's a lake, it's not a pool. But yeah, I tend to like the water warmer than most people. But yeah, it was kind of verging on it was close to there. But it's nice to be able to get in and get out and not freeze when you do it. You know, like if you have to run and get
Mhm.
something, you can jump right in and everything. But yeah, it started storming, so I did not get to enjoy my time that day. Unfortunately, I went in. I'm like, I shouldn't have bothered because I like literally was in there for like 20 minutes, and I'm like, I gotta go take a shower. Shit. So that was not a fun day.
It really stormed here, like this
Yeah,
really
no, it
hard
did.
for like
We
a
had
half hour.
we had tornado warnings,
Oh,
like
good.
lightning everywhere, but not. We had tornado warnings coming up, but when you looked at the map, it was like not quite there. So
Yeah.
we didn't end up running downstairs, but we were close to it. If it would have came any
Mhm.
closer, we probably would have.
Well, I mean, I ran down. I was like, my boyfriend and the cat came downstairs one time. We were doing Yellow Jackets.
Yeah, I remember that when you had to run
Yeah.
down. And you can have bad weather during the summer a lot
I
of
figure I
times.
just might as well keep going. It's like, what can I
Yeah,
do?
well, as long as you don't lose your internet, you're okay, right? I
Yeah,
mean,
I
you
mean,
just
as
don't
long
know.
as I'm just like just chilling until the warning's lifted. I mean, luckily, every warning or watch has been lifted earlier than they say, so I see that
Yeah.
as a good sign.
Yeah, that's always a good sign. It's just like I would normally if it's raining, like I'm not somebody I would just want to stay in, but like when it's thundering and lightning, you clearly can't.
Mhm.
The thing is it now like it used to be when you saw a warning, it meant that somebody spotted a tornado. I didn't
Yeah.
know that had changed. Now,
Mm.
the warning doesn't have to mean that. It can be a warning just because their equipment is saying that one is favorable. I guess
Oh,
because their
yeah,
equipment is more accurate. Because
yeah,
they explained like that doesn't necessarily mean it. So that's why it wasn't quite as bad as it makes it sound now, I guess. Because yeah, it
yeah.
used to be that somebody had to have like reported it or something. So that's a little different now. I don't know.
Better to
Um,
err on the side of caution
Yeah, well, yes, it's definitely better, and you don't wanna be in the pool if it's
instead
like
of like
it
saying, "Hey, I'm
started
in the
pouring,
pool.
I was
Is
like,
that a
"Just get the
tornado?"
cover on the pool. Get in the house." Yeah, because it started.
Yeah,
Dustin says, "There was a basketball team where the coach made him spend 2 hours in a hot sauna and 2 hours in a frozen lake." Yeah, you would be
that
sick
kind of
from
sounds
both.
like the stuff I used to do for cross country.
Ugh.
You know, running up dunes, running down dunes, getting into a, I don't know, a hot tub. That seems weird.
I don't know, hot
I don't
tubs
think
are
I
hard.
get in a hot tub with my coach or teammates. That just seems weird. It doesn't seem right.
Yeah, I agree, it
Let
doesn't
alone
doesn't
getting out. But I mean, I had a friend that had a hot tub in the winter. We get in there and then we challenge each other to run around the yard with snow in it, you know, run
and
around
then
the
get back.
yard and come back in the hot tub.
That's cool. I just
But
remembered
that's
they're always
friends. That's
recording.
not a coach. That coach seems weird. That seems like crossing a line.
It does, it does. They're always recording anything could be valuable data, so they're all Zuckerbergs. Yeah, I'm sure they do record it all the time. The company probably listens. Yeah, I don't
Oh,
know. See, I
yeah,
can't
they
really
have
go.
that sweet, sweet data, sweet, sweet human data all the time.
Yeah, they might have something we don't know about. I yeah, maybe now they have him saying all that stuff about Mensa, and they're like sexual harassment. No,
No, they're gonna
I
sell those images for profit, if you know what I
yeah,
mean.
maybe.
Bow
Um,
chicka bow wow.
I, I'm going off topic again, but I was just gonna say I went in a hot tub once, but I generally like I went in to try it, but I can't because I'm actually
Mm.
as dumb as it sounds. I don't know if people know this, but like I'm allergic to chlorine, and you can go
You seem
at
to be
least with
allergic to a lot of things.
I am allergic to a lot of things, but
It's really
like
horrible.
I can go outside swimming, but like if I go in an indoor pool, I will get sick because I've
Mhm,
done that in the past, like been at a hotel when we've been on vacation,
mhm.
like I'm gonna go in and enjoy it. And I've gone in and I've gotten so
Yeah,
sick later from it. So yeah, it depends if it's an open air. It makes a difference with with the
yeah.
chlorine.
And like,
But yeah,
well, in Arizona, I can only like put sunscreen on myself once and go in a pool
oh, it
because if
bothers
because if like it comes off me and I need to reapply it, it like burns every pore of my body.
me.
I've
Oh,
never experienced so much pain with the hot southwestern sun that's cooking that sunscreen into my pores with the chlorine, and I was like, I can't do this again.
yeah, I could see if it could
So I can
burn
put
if
it
it
on
does.
once, and I can swim, and then when I get out, I have to take a shower. I can't go back in, which kind of
I see.
sucks, but I'm not going
Well, that
to.
kind of makes sense. You probably can't stay in real long then because you're you know you're supposed to reapply it every whatever it is 2 hours or whatever. What's the
Yeah.
snow you speak of? At
I
least in
just
some way.
when I lived in San Diego, I had a pretty like hard and fast like do everything outside before 10 a.m. and after 4 p.m. because I'm kind of my skin's really light. I burn like instantly.
Yeah,
I'm really recessive.
I mean, clearly my skin's light. I usually burn. I don't know, the sunscreen stuff I've gotten the last like couple years I've started using it seems to actually work, but I've also actually been careful to put it on every 2 hours. Where like I guess as growing up, I probably maybe didn't as much.
What brand is it?
I think it's Neutrogena because the stuff I
Yeah,
had
because I
before
have
was
to use
really
like
well.
the oh sorry.
No, go ahead.
No, I have to use a Vino. There's a Vino that kind of smells like berry. It's kind of like a positively ageless like lotion, but it has SPF in it.
Oh,
And then
okay.
there's like a Burt's Bees one that works well, but a lot of them don't work well on me, and a lot of them stink. Have you ever noticed that sunscreen stinks? It has a
They definitely
sunscreeny,
can,
stinky
yeah.
smell.
Well, I mean, I never use stuff that has perfume just because it does bother me. But I don't know. I started using the Neutrogena, and it's like got a really high SPF. I don't know. I do reapply it. I didn't used to, which is probably why I used to burn a lot more because I would not redo it. I would stay out. I've been doing very good at putting it back on, and I haven't burnt this year anyway. I did last year some. Although
When I was a kid, like all my pictures,
I don't enjoy peeling my skin off.
when I was a kid, all my school portraits, like some of them, I'm like bright lobster red, you know.
Oh no, I get that.
My family wasn't really a sunscreen type of family.
Yeah. No,
They're like, you'll tan. I'm like, no, I'm burning and it's peeling off. No, you'll tan. And no.
No, I know. Yeah, tanning used to be like a good thing. Like you'd want to go out and get burnt, so you tan some. I know you're saying you don't tan, but
or tanning beds. People that I
I've never used
California that still use tanning beds.
Yeah, I would never go that far, but I would want to get like tan outside when I went in the pool, like I'd lay on the raft or whatever, and end up burning. But I haven't for a long time. We should do a cross country tour. That would I would I'd love to go. So we should do a cross country tour. Okay. I would enjoy going across the country. I do not have money to go across the country.
Yeah. Well, I went from from San Diego to Vancouver, like kind of a West Coast trip, and that was fun.
Oh, that's cool.
That's when I saw the Twin Peaks stuff. I mentioned Twin Peaks stuff on another live about like being able to see like Ronette's Bridge and go to the diner and have cherry pie and all that. Yeah, it was an offshoot of that because Snoqualmie Falls isn't too far away from where we were hitting in Vancouver, just to go over to the east on the way back down.
Yeah, no,
I spent a lot of time in Portland because a friend of ours was nice enough to loan us her apartment when she was gone.
Oh, that's really cool. Yeah,
she was a big YouTube fan, so she had Bono's pants and Bono's sunglasses for the Zoom tour.
She had wait, say that again. She had bottomless pants. What? I think I misunderstood.
She had Bono's pants.
Oh,
she was a big YouTube fan.
Okay, Bono.
She followed you too all over the place, and then she either won or like some charity auction where she bid on Bono's pants and Bono's sunglasses for the Zoo tour, and they were in her closet. So I was like, I'm going to try on Bono's pants.
That's interesting. That's so
Why not? Once in a lifetime.
Yeah, no, that is cool.
She had a bed that was super tall too. It was like a Princess and a Pea situation. I like had to climb up into it. It was super comfortable, but I was like, who has a bed like this where you have to have a ladder to climb up into it?
Yeah, that's a little strange. The only time usually you have one that high is if like you have it lofted to put like a desk or something under it, but then it's usually like you have to use a ladder or something to get up it. Because I know at college I did that, but that's a little different. Yeah, I don't know. Vancouver was fun, but yeah, I'd love to do a tour across the country, but I would need a sponsor. I can't afford to even go back to Vancouver.
Yeah, Vancouver was cool because it had from my memory, like kind of a zoo museum aquarium area, like a big park.
In Portland or in Vancouver?
In Vancouver. No, Portland had stuff like the 24-hour Church of Elvis. I remember that.
And you said this had what was it, a zoo? Would you say a zoo museum?
Like in Vancouver. Like they have a big park.
Okay. That's what I was trying to hear. We're trying to understand what you said. Yeah. I don't know. Yeah. The only thing I went to, I can't remember what it was called. Something Gardens. that's like known for its plants. It's like got a whole bunch of flowers that they filmed. I told you a lot of these were Stargate locations. They
Yeah,
filmed a
yeah.
lot of, but also the one thing we went to, regardless of what was filmed there, it was beautiful as Sun Yat Set. Although I think now it's called something different, but it was called Sun Yat Set Gardens. It's like a Japanese gardens. It's really beautiful. I'd love to go back there. That was fun. It's like a kind of like a very zen, sort of retreat thing. That was fun. Yeah, there's a lot of pretty stuff in Vancouver.
Yeah, there's one up in Grand Rapids in Meyer Gardens that has that, and they have a tea house.
Oh, that's
like
cool.
a really beautiful area, a Japanese garden, different gardens set up, different themes, and then
cool.
I mean, in the seasons, they plant different things in them, and it's fun.
Right. Yeah.
I like botanical gardens. And they have like inside, they have like a Victorian garden, and then they have desert, a desert area.
Yeah. Yeah, that other thing, the other place I was thinking of was something botanical gardens. Now that you said that, you'd recognize it like from being on TV because it had like a huge dome over it, like it was the botanical garden. I don't remember.
I'm surprised you didn't go to X-Files filming locations in Vancouver.
No, I did.
Oh, okay.
I thought that part of my call. Maybe you weren't there that day. I was talking about. Yeah, no, I went on the X tour. I did not. They actually had a thing that would take you. Although I did not do the thing where you pay to get taken around in a limo. I was not going to pay that much money in a car.
Fancy.
But no, I paid the whatever it is, the X tour company. It was a thing they did, and they took you around all the X-File filming. Some of them were from other shows too, filming locations. But yeah, we did as a family, like outside of the Stargate thing. That was just we did and went to. So yeah, I got to see a lot of things that way too, but not as good as when I was on the set. That was much better, obviously, but yeah, it was cool to see. I love seeing filming locations, even if it's not a show I like. I think it's cool to see filming.
Yeah.
That made it fun. But yeah, I'd love to go back to Vancouver, but not anytime soon, unfortunately. I could do with any kind of vacation right now, to be honest.
Oh, really?
like if it's more than a day vacation, I'd probably be just about happy to go anywhere. That's where I know, like Karen was I told you going to Alaska. Like, I don't know that I would choose Alaska to go to a vacation, but if it was a free vacation, I'd go.
Yeah, see, when one lady has a Yellow Jackets channel, lives in Alaska, and wanted to have a Yellow Jackets con out in the forests of Alaska, which I thought would be cool, and in league with the show.
Yeah, that would be kind of cool.
And then we'll kill a bear and we'll eat its meat.
If the director of I assume you mean the show, invited you to hang out on the set with the cast, would you? If I was invited to go to a set again, as long as I could find a way to afford it, yes, I would go. I mean, I've gone to different set visits for press and for that reason, but sometimes they pay, sometimes they don't. But yeah,
what's for an object?
The name of the episode, so I assume he means.
Oh, for an object, this episode. Okay, I'm sorry. I thought that was a TV show.
No. Yeah, I figured that Murderbot. Either of you professionals.
Oh yeah, that'd be cool.
It would be cool. I took acting in college, but other than the play we did in college and what I did in high school, I never acted beyond that. So
I was gonna say define professionally.
I was gonna say, so not well at any rate. But
I was on something. I had some friends and we loved doing like Bergman parodies. Was very niche. A lot of stuff like that, or sci-fi parodies where we'd just find dumpster dive and find stuff in the dumpster and make a monster outfit out of it and strap it onto one of our friends and shoot some footage.
That could be cool though. That could be fun. I don't know.
Show it on cable access.
Show on cable access, yeah. I don't know. I had wanted to act back then. I mean, that was kind of originally what I wanted to do, and then I got into doing then I got into doing all the journalist stuff and kind of went that direction instead. So. And
I did act as a movie. I played Sharon the ferryman in a little movie called Dead Ends that nobody's really seen, but it played at festivals.
Yeah, you were saying something about that before. That's cool.
Yeah.
You have to find it, and then you can stream it.
I had to merge all of my IMDb credits to one thing.
I don't
You
know.
know
I
how
was
like
in.
people will do variants of your name, and then it's like, well, shit. Now I got to go in there and do the whole like red light, green light system to get it to merge it all together.
No, yeah, I get that.
I just
I was,
haven't really bothered with it because I'm like, I don't think any. I mean, that's cool though because IMDb brings up feeds. Like if you do like something else, like if you do like a book thing, it'll bring it up in your feed, and I'm like, that's cool.
yeah, it makes a lot
Like
of
a
sense.
blog or something mentions you, and I'm like, well, that's right up in IMDb. That's cool.
Yeah, that's cool. I tried to get connected with IMDb for my site, but they had stopped accepting that at that point. They don't connect to other sites now because otherwise I would
Yeah,
try to have my
they did a lot of things I didn't like because they used to have those little forums at the bottom of each page too.
they've
And a lot of
changed.
times I'm kind of a movie buff that likes obscure films, and it was great to be able to communicate with people that were like, oh, you can find this here, or you can find it, this way. And I would be able to find things I couldn't, find for a really long time, and then, or just ask a question.
Yeah, well, I talked about trying to find that movie before. Yeah, it would help for something like that.
Yeah.
But I need to put, because I know our sister site. I saw that Michael, he's been putting all his podcasts through his Internet Movie Database page. I should
Yeah.
add
Oh,
that
wow.
for
Yeah.
my shows and for the interviews and stuff we've done, which I have not done because I didn't know people did, and I keep meaning to check it out and do that, and I have not. But I was just gonna say I was once in a X-File fan documentary thing they had, but
Oh,
I don't
cool.
think the credits were even on their movie database. I don't know if they ever did anything with it. I just remember filming for it. It was they.
Yeah.
I don't remember if it was at the expo or what. They took interviews for it. So yeah, I was interviewed
Yeah.
once, which is kind of interesting considering what I do now. I was interviewed.
Well, I got some credits because I did documentary stuff for our friend's film, like all the special effects and stuff. I did a little documentary.
That's cool.
Directed the thing, so they were like, "Oh, we'll put you on IMDb when the DVD comes out." I'm like, "That's cool, thanks." A little making up, a little credit.
Yeah. The only thing I ever got was I got a VH. It was a long time ago, a VHS of the documentary. But
Yeah,
that
I got a
was
DVD of Dead Ends, and I
cool.
came in late to the viewing party right when they were done because I couldn't find parking at the college because college parking sucks.
Yes, college parking does suck.
I couldn't even figure out where you could park literally for free after 6 p.m. I couldn't figure out where there was a guest parking lot because everything had, like the letters for like the little stickers you had to put in there. And I'm like, I don't know where to park where I'm not going to get a ticket.
See, I think I'm trying to think. It's been so long, but
My boyfriend saw it. My boyfriend saw my acting debut.
Good. Well, that's good at least. But I was gonna say, I think at our college, I'm pretty sure that once you had a parking pass, like for the apartments or whatever, like you could park wherever you wanted on the campus. But I don't remember.
I was just trying to find guest parking.
No, we have guest parking is different.
Yeah.
And
I've done makeup. I've done makeup and costumes in a few 48-hour projects.
Yeah, I did costumes for a few plays in college because we did you needed to get so much credit for different things. I did do it was a dresser for some of the things, and so yeah, that, and I told you, I think I told that I directed a one-act play too for college, but beyond college I didn't really do any of that. But to answer your question, Justin, as I said, I don't know about the other people in here, but like I said before, Karen and I have done things together for press in person, but beyond that I don't know. You should do a makeup tutorial. I don't know that I would want to do makeup on a channel. I don't know that I'd be good enough at it anyway. But
I was doing stuff for kind of a horror sci-fi film, which isn't exactly like the regular go out and have fun outside makeup.
Not regular makeup.
It's more like scare people in a foreign planet makeup.
Yeah, I don't know. I do think that would be fun to do more of that, like stage makeup and stuff. That would be fun. I haven't done it, but it would be cool. I don't know. I think if I did any tutorial videos, it would probably be computer stuff. How to do shit on the computer.
I'll probably do some art tutorial where I'm teaching people how to draw.
Yeah, that. I was gonna say, me and you just met not even a year ago. We started talking, so we don't know each other as well as I think Justin thinks we do. But yeah,
well, that's
I don't
good
know.
repertoire at least.
Yeah, no, yeah, it's good we have a good repertoire. That's true.
Yeah.
Well, I know that you wanted to leave at 1:30. I don't want to keep you too long. Do we have anything else we want to talk about? Does anybody else in the chat have anything else you guys
You
want
got
to
any
ask?
questions?
Questions before we go? We'll try to wrap it up by 1:30. And yeah, I'll be back with Karen and AJ tomorrow for what the heck is the name of that? I cannot for the life of me think of the name of that new Marvel series. What is it called?
Don't know.
It's the one that has to do with Black Panther, and I'm blanking what the hell it's called.
It's not Ironheart.
Ironheart, yeah. Ironheart.
Okay.
I think we're gonna do the first 2 episodes of Ironheart, Resident Alien, and then we'll probably touch on Murderbot a little bit.
How are you liking Resident Alien?
I like Resident Alien. I think it's a fun show.
How did you like his girlfriend coughing up in a bag and giving it to the baby birds?
Well, I was going to say, I actually have to rewatch parts of it because none of those special effects and stuff were finished when I watched.
Oh yeah, so it's a sort of.
I didn't even see the baby birds until recently when I saw a picture of them. Yeah, because it wasn't done. But yes, it was.
So it's just an empty nest about anything.
Yeah, I don't know that I really want to see the throw up. So I don't know. I don't know what
it was like. A lot.
Okay, yeah, maybe I don't want to see that. Actually, I can't remember. Maybe they did dump stuff in a bag. I can't remember, but I know a lot of the effects weren't finished.
Yeah, it probably wasn't that nice green tinge there was when it was
edited. I don't remember green, and I know there was no baby birds. Like I didn't see what was actually happening with the babies. So I need to go back and watch that. But speaking of Resident Alien, and I got to post it in Discord yet, I put, if you go to the video, or if you go to scifivision.com or our video tab, I did put up the last 2 Resident Alien interviews today. So I'm finally getting some of this stuff caught up. Next will be the 2 revival interviews I have left to put up. And then I have Buccaneers, and I think then I'm all non-Ballard. But those aren't due quite yet, but I'm getting there, finally getting caught up. And then the only other thing is I'm trying to find out if we're going to get that guest. I wrote that person back, trying to find out that guest that we talked about. I don't like announcing things until it's confirmed, but we might be getting a guest for our one show, guys. So make sure that you stay tuned to Discord for all our news. And if we have it, we'll be taking questions for them, and they will be here live, but we will have to see how that goes.
Doc said his fiance is really into that actor.
Oh, okay. That's interesting.
So he'll be there.
Oh, okay. I see.
And if we do it in the morning, he'll probably be there.
Yeah. Well, I can understand that. I can definitely understand that. You guys should guest star Midnight Murderbot. I am always trying to get people, Justin, although Apple's a big ass to get for live streams. So I have not requested Murderbot just because it's not going to happen. Plus, a lot of the actors are more well known and stuff anyway, and they're not gonna. But yeah, the other stuff, we hear that is true. That was Apple, but that wasn't the main actors on Apple things are gonna be a lot harder. But I'm always trying to. I need to try more, but trying to get us guests and everything, and it's just hard to schedule things sometimes. But just make sure everybody checks out Discord for the schedule and checks out. I'm going to start making more YouTube community posts. Lori told me I should make more posts because I was discussing how there's the whole issue of only getting 3 notifications. If anybody does YouTube, they know that's an issue. And since I do live streams and videos, it makes it hard to get everything out and have it show up. So I've just been, like today, I didn't have them send out notifications for the videos, and instead I made a post telling what I put up, so that way everybody will kind of see what's going on for the week. But so hopefully that works and tells people what they need to know. But yeah.
Oh yeah. Also tell me when is Sandman starting? You mentioned this.
Sandman starts in oh shit, I gotta get my review done. I gotta finish watching it first. Sandman starts on Thursday.
That's
So
quick.
I know yes, it's very quick. So we need to decide what day we're going to do a show and if we're just going to do like 2 episodes at a time or what. I mean, I know they drop all at once. So
they did all at once? I thought it was going to be half and
no,
half.
it is. It's 6
Really?
and 6, but I mean, they dropped 6 at a time. So yeah, so maybe we'll do.
Well, I guess we're going to have a 12-hour watch party.
Yeah,
before Thursday.
I don't know that's gonna happen.
At least I'm gonna have one. I gotta get that.
No, go for it. I didn't.
Count through those.
Yeah, I did not.
Season.
I did not rewatch season 1. I just watched recaps. I just can't invest that much more time in it again. But I did watch somebody's recaps for each of the episodes, so I think I remembered most of it. And I think, to be honest, I don't think you really have to have seen season 1 or remember most of it to get the gist of what's going on. It's kind of like a new chapter, so I think people will be okay. But we will be figuring out when the 2 of us are going to talk about that to you guys. So stay tuned for that update. We've been discussing it. And then starting, like I said, Sunday, that's not this Sunday, next Sunday on the 13th is when the Institute comes out, and we'll do the watch party whenever it is that episode drops, whether it's Sunday at midnight or Saturday night, Sunday at midnight, or Sunday evening at 9. We'll do a watch party, and then I assume we're going to do the live stream at 11. I don't think we ever outright said, but I assumed we were going to do it at 11 especially because there are 2 episodes coming out the first night, so we'll have the watch party followed by the live stream. And then I thought that our review was going to be on Monday, but then I remembered we have Murderbot, and I don't know. So now we can figure out how that's going to go. But I'll put all that on Discord so people can just watch Discord for updates. And and you're what? Still covering Duster? See, I quit watching that.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to be covering on Tuesday now because I got moved to Tuesday.
Yeah, I know. I think it's during our show. Which doesn't surprise me.
Well, it's not. Never is really. It hasn't been.
That's true. That's true.
Because one time it started at after 2, and one time, and the other ones have been on Tuesday.
Yeah, I was gonna say I didn't think it was normally on Tuesday, but ours is tomorrow night.
It is normally on Tuesday.
I don't know. I couldn't really get into that show. So I just, I don't have time to watch everything, so I just quit watching. I watched that one, and then I never watched it again.
Yeah, I kind of like the 70s vibe, but I'm not a big Josh Holloway person. I don't find him that attractive.
I like Josh Holloway, although he was
maybe unpopular opinion.
He was a lot more attractive in Lost than he is in this. I'll just say that.
Okay.
But yeah, I don't know. I mean, I like him, but not enough that it made me want to. It just really isn't my type of show, though. To be fair, it just really isn't my genre. I didn't love it. It wasn't anything against it.
I don't know. I like 70s stuff and the music and stuff from that time and the clothing. So I like the vibe.
No, I get that. I just couldn't really. Yeah, I couldn't really get into it. But I have so many things I have to watch. I just don't have time.
You gotta kind of pick and choose what you want.
Yes, definitely.
Or have it forced to watch.
Sorry, what?
I said, you can pick and choose. I said, or just have it forced upon you.
Yeah, I just don't have time to watch. That's the problem. Or get no sleep. That's the other choice. But I still have to. I just remember I have to watch Ironheart. I haven't even started that. I got to watch that before tomorrow night. I don't know if it's good or not. I'm hoping it's good, but I do need to watch it, or I'm not going to be able to talk about it tomorrow. But I have to finish Sandman and write up that review as well. And I believe those reviews actually are embargoed until it airs. So that will be up, but not instantly. And I want to say the Institute reviews are embargoed until the 8th, I think. So people can look forward can look for those, but they're going to be a little bit yet. So, all righty. Well, I know, like I said, I know that you said you wanted to go at 1:30, so I don't want to keep you all night, but thank you everybody for coming. I hope you enjoyed the show. And I guess I will see a lot of you tomorrow. And Scarlet, I will see you Thursday. Librarians.
Oh yeah, the con.
The con, yep. But in the meantime, we will have to discuss when we're going to do Sandman. Justin, the answer to that is not enough, at least with me. Not early enough.
Yeah.
I have to go out tomorrow too, so I'm not gonna get enough sleep. But that's why I need to quit staying
Sometimes
on
when
these.
you work, you gotta put some sleep in there.
Yeah, well, that's the problem. I say I'm going to get off early on these things, and I stay till 3 or 4 in the morning, and then I'm like, shit, why did I do that? I love doing it, but I do need to get some sleep too, and I do got a lot of work to do. But like I said, I at least, for people who are looking for it, I did at least get the Resident Alien interviews up if people want to check that out, which was with Corey and Elizabeth, the one who plays Sheriff and Liv, and
yeah, cool.
And then the three women who play Asta, Darcy, and Kate. And so those are up.
Nice.
But and then I have the revival producers, like the showrunners, got to go up, and that'll be within the next couple days. And I still have Stephen Ogg that will be going up. Did you ever catch up on watching Revival?
Yes, I am totally caught up now.
Okay, because you should.
It just records on my DVD-R real late, and we have the Librarians thing, so I never get around to watching it until you guys have already started with your life.
Well, come watch it at the watch party. That's why we have the watch party, and then you
watching the watch party. Discord makes it so choppy. It's so choppy every time I watch something on there.
It might be because you're on an iPad, maybe. I don't know.
It's just not. When we did Severance, I couldn't hear the audio, and they couldn't put on closed captioning. I'm like, I don't even know what's going on.
Well, the thing, I don't know why. I guess because of the program I used to play the video. When I put on captions, nobody seems to be able to see the captions but me, so it's not helping anybody. I do put them on every time, and I'm like, "Can you see them?" And they're like, "No." So I just give up. I think because I'm using a video file as opposed to like the website, I think is why.
Well, even when I went to watch Murderbot tonight, it was choppy. It wasn't very flowy. It would just kind of like look like it was missing frames as it went.
That I don't know. I mean, I do not have a Nitro account for Discord unless it's because it's only able to stream at whatever it is, 720, or it's your iPad, or it's my Wi-Fi. I don't know. But you can always,
could be all these things.
Yeah, watch on your DVR. But anyway, you should come if you can. I know you have your From Academy on Friday, but it's probably after we're done or close to
after. That's on the 4th of July. I don't think I'm going to be doing the From Academy on the 4th of July.
Oh, well, that's right. I forgot you said it was the 4th of July. Shit.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if I want to do a show on the 4th of July. I'm going to be out too.
I mean, I'm going to be out watching fireworks on the 4th of July.
Yeah, I am too. Yeah, I didn't even realize that. Well, guys, that's a good point. Our Friday show may not be Friday, or it may be earlier in the day, because I'm not going to be here either. I didn't realize. I keep forgetting that. You mentioned that earlier, and I'm like, oh yeah, I need to talk to Lori about that. So yeah, guys, make sure you check the Discord schedule for that, because we probably will have to reschedule that a bit, but we will have this show. It just might be a different day or time or whatever. Because I want to see fireworks.
Yeah, exactly.
Sorry, guys.
Eat a hot
Sorry,
dog.
guys. We're gonna watch fireworks. Even if we have a 4th of July show, it'll have to be a different time.
Yeah.
All right. Well, have a good. Do I do meet and greets? You mean like with actors or with us? I'm not sure what you mean by that, Justin. I've done meet and greets with actors. Does that?
I usually just go outside to meet and greet my neighbors.
Yeah, meet and greet neighbors. True.
Just start walking up to neighbors and start talking. I have some interesting neighbors. I think I have some neighbors that are furries, which might be interesting for me to start up a conversation.
I don't know. I need to go. I need to see some of my neighbors. I feel like I haven't seen my neighbors in a while. I guess it's just because it's been so hot. People aren't necessarily outside unless they're in underwater. No, have not, but I have thought of doing an AMA video if people are AM. What did I say, AMA, or did I say AMO? I feel like it came out AMO. AMA. I thought of doing. I don't know if anybody does it. I don't know that anybody does, except maybe Justin. I don't know. People have to tell me if they want me to do one.
Oh, is that the one we're gonna do? Defiance, like a.
Yeah, I was. I'm thinking of doing that and doing some stuff talking about some of the set stuff, but we didn't end up doing it on my birthday, so I didn't do it. But I also would like to do another trivia night. I think was fun too. Would be interesting to bring that back. But yeah, we'll see. But let me guys let us know what you want to see too. If there's certain things you want to see, and can try to make them happen. But please go in Discord, post in Discord. I would really like to talk to you guys, interact with you in my Discord, but it's very quiet. So yeah. But who knows? All right. Well, have a good night, everybody.
Yeah.
See
Take
you
it.
tomorrow.
Take it easy.
Yeah. I guess. Well, no, I'll see you. I was gonna say if I don't see you before 4th, but yeah, I'll see you Thursday. So
yeah, you'll see me Thursday. Well, you won't see me, but you'll hear me.
Same difference. All right. Good night.
Take it easy.
Bye bye, you too.